Instagram.
Is that the only Instagram camera?
That's the only Instagram camera.
We're good. We're live on both.
So both is Instagram and Facebook?
Yep.
Are we doing Podbean?
Podbean.
Oh, that's the one I have to yell at.
Yeah, we're going to yell at it because the microphone is not working.
Okay.
Are you ready to do this?
Yeah, we should be live on both right now, so.
We're live on Facebook?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well,
Sorry.
hey everybody, welcome to Real Brave Live. My name's Dan, and that's Kevin. Real Brave, if you don't know already, is a music studio. We have a couple of locations on the East Coast of the United States, but we are also online. We have something called Practice Pad. Practice Pad is an online platform for lessons where you can meet with an instructor, one of our instructors, god darn it, and take lessons every week. It's a revolutionary platform that nobody has and you have to sign up for.
Yes.
And we also have a free Facebook group where you can sign up for and get free lessons, crazy, from our instructors. It's called the Practice Portal. So I want you to sign up for that and follow us on all the social. We are live on Instagram.
Insta what?
Instagram.
Okay.
We're live on Podbean, and we are live on Facebook. Hi, Kevin.
Hi, and hello Dan, and hello viewers. Welcome to Real Brave Live.
And today we're going to talk about the top 10 albums of the 1990s. Not the 1890s, the 1990s.
Does it specify in the description?
It doesn't. It says the 90s.
I'm gonna stick with the 1890s. There's a lot of great post-Civil War
Yeah.
hymnals and just American songbook classics.
And of course the all-time favorite, "Don't Shoot Me in the Face, Please, Southerner."
Yeah, that's that was done and redone so many times.
Yeah. By Yosemite Sam.
Yosemite Sam and most recently Nelly.
Thanks everybody. Have a good day. That was our show for today.
Sorry.
So top 10. I can't even speak today.
It's the top 10 albums of the 90s by what measure?
Well, Rolling Stone said
Okay.
that we called us and said you should do these.
And this is an exclusive. You can't find this list anywhere online, especially at rollingstone.com.
You can't go to rollingstone.com right now and find this.
Right.
But if you did go to rollingstone.com and look for this, you might be able to find it.
I mean, don't pull that thread too much. Don't dig too deep on this rabbit hole. But
Yes, you want to be careful with what you wish for.
Right.
So coming in at number 10, there's a band called Pavement, Crooked Rain. Crooked Rain.
Mhm.
Is that on purpose?
Yeah, that's the album name.
Okay, just checking. And I'm actually not familiar with Pavement too much.
No. So we're off to a great start.
This is good. Number 10, Pavement, Crooked Rain. And that's, according to Rolling Stone, is one of the top 10 albums, if not the top 10, the number 10 album. So we can't really speak to it.
You guys don't know Pavement at all?
I'm not familiar. It's more like a Sonic Youth meets a 90s band. Not 1890s, 1990s, right?
Yeah, they're, it's Stephen Malcolmus. He had his side projects, and then Pavement was his main thing, and they're very indie rock, weird lyrics. I really like them. I think that's maybe not their best album, but I do really like that album, and the songs Gold Sounds, Cut Your Hair, I think is their biggest hit from that album, and Range Life, and there's more on the album. It's very good, indie vibes.
It is a divergence from their more quirky indie stuff, and it's more like a serious, hey, take us seriously as an indie band type thing. Which, a lot of fans, I would imagine, didn't really care for that much. True pavement heads.
Pavement. Tron Cat says meow. I say meow back.
Hey, Tron Cat. Thanks for watching.
Yeah, bud.
Or listening.
Appreciate it, Tron Cat. Sonic Youth, The Fall, and the Pixies. A combination of all three bands, apparently.
Pavement?
Pavement.
Okay. I might check them out.
They're one of my favorites.
It's one of
Really recommend?
Madison's favorites.
Cool.
Yeah, a lot of these albums on this list are my personal favorites because I really like 90s stuff, but that's just me. I don't know.
When you're a youngster, And you didn't grow up in the 90s.
Oh yeah, I want to just point out real quick. I was born in '89.
That was 1989.
1989, not
1889.
1889 or 2089.
Let's make that clear, because to our viewers and listeners, that might be unclear.
You have to be specific when you're on a platform or multiple platforms like this, because there's a lot open to interpretation.
You could be 130 years old. Nobody knows.
So I was born in 1989.
Yeah.
AD. And so I grew up in the 90s.
Okay.
I was a child in the 90s, and the 90s was when I discovered music, or when I came into identifying with music. So like when I think of the 90s, I think of like Hootie and the Blowfish. I think of like Blink-182 and Green Day and other bands probably.
Yep.
Boy bands.
Boy bands.
Yeah.
We're gonna go there. What about punk? Troncat likes punk.
Punk. So like punk in 90s, that to me is like Blink-182, Green Day.
That's pop.
Like pop punk, yeah.
But that's pop punk.
That's
So
not like your punky punk, punky rooster punk.
is there punky punk in the 90s?
Yes,
You
but
got your Rancid.
the mainstream was definitely pop punk. You had right after the 90s was like the pop punk explosion, like Fall Out Boy, like
Right.
all those bands,
Sum
Green Day.
41.
Yeah, all those bands.
Sum 41.
They're not. What's their song? Fat Lip?
I don't know.
Nobody knows.com. Number 9. Now, can we end that? Go to number 9.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The
just
stuff that I know about.
I was
Just
gonna say
continue.
something, but I forget.
It's because I cut you off and just
Well, something about punk.
it rhymes with funk, which is what the music you like.
Yes. Yeah. Okay.
All right.
All right.
Don't forget to speak up because our microphone's not working for this.
I like funk.
There it is. That's for you, Troncat. So coming in at number 9, according to RollingStone.com, top 10 albums of the 1990s is Beck's Odelay.
Oh. Okay, so I can talk about this album.
This is a great album. Beck, if you don't know, is still playing, still innovating. He's one of the innovators of like successful musicians. I'm sure there's other musicians that innovate, but tell me what you know about Beck.
I know that. So you could describe him when he started out as like indie rock, right?
Right.
And he has gone on to like constantly reinvent himself through his music, transcending genres, and just really cool stuff. Like any album you pick up and you listen to by Beck, you're gonna hear something like completely different from the previous album. It's like rock meets electronic meets elements of bluegrass and funk and pop. It's so eclectic, and that's one of the things I love most about Beck. And he's got some hits, he's got some bangers, some chart toppers. Loser being one of them. Where It's At, which is on this record. Odelay.
You went more in a different direction. It's different genres he would kind of like go into.
Yeah.
First time you heard him, he was kind of like rapping in Loser.
Yeah, Loser, yeah. There's a destination. No, that's not Where It's At.
But the first time you heard him, I'm saying the first time we heard him, Instagram, is he was rapping, and then all of a sudden he had this really kind of catchy kind of like chorus that kind of comes in.
I'm a loser, baby,
Yeah.
so why don't you? Interesting thing about that song is that it's got one chord. It's A. There's no it's a study in.
Can you play the
I
riff?
thought
Do you know how to play the riff?
Oh, it is in D. And
D, yeah.
yes, the riff is. I need a slide, but
There it is.
Yeah.
something like that. That's Loser.
Yeah. A Troncat's talking to us. Suicidal Tendencies is a metal band, though, man. And that's
Is he talking about punk still?
that's more metal. I would think Suicidal Tendencies to be in the metal genre. But thanks, Troncat, for listening in. You on Instagram, I'm pointing at you, and on Facebook. If you can comment below and tell us what you think the top 10 90s albums are, we'd appreciate it. Because, as usual, these lists are disappointing. Coming in at number 8, Biggie, Ready to Die.
Okay.
Yeah. He's still making albums. Good for him.
Biggie Smalls?
Sure.
Is it a different Biggie?
Is there one I don't know about? Like,
No, he's not. I'm just joking.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Well, the album's called Ready to Die.
Yep.
And of course, it's probably one of the greatest hip hop artists of our time. Gone too soon. And unfortunately for me, like this is during a time where I just wasn't listening to a lot of hip hop. I kind of got back into hip hop like after the 2000s, like Nas and like a bunch of other stuff.
Right.
But
Biggie was just this past year inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
I said that correctly.
You did.
Nice.
Yeah.
So
John Favreau was the guy that put everybody in.
Tim the Destroyer.
Tim the Destroyer.
wasn't it John Landau?
John
was
Landau. John Landau. Not to be confused with the John Landau of the other thing.
Or John Lithgow.
Or John Lithgow. John Lithgow did not put them in. But he revitalized the New York, not John Landau or Lithgow. John Lithgow did not revitalize the New York hip hop scene.
John Lithgow revitalized my love of the cinema.
He's a Shakespearean actor,
Yeah.
who's a famous actor. So yeah, he revitalized New York hip hop after years of West Coast dominance. I mean, if you remember the early '90s, Snoop Dogg, like all that stuff, and then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, comes this new breed of rappers, and like, yeah, and then there was this whole thing where I don't know if you ever watched like the documentaries on like the rivalry.
Yes. Yeah. It was very contentious.
Yeah. You know what though? Record companies kind of like didn't do anything about it. I think that some.
No, they enjoyed.
They
it.
yeah,
They encouraged
good.
it for
They
the.
encouraged it.
It makes content.
It does make contact, which was really unfortunate because it begot a lot of violence. Between East and Left Coast.
Well done, on the violence.
Left Coast.
Could we have more violence?
Yeah. Spit some more angry rhymes at each other and watch what happens. And then it ends up with them both dying, Tupac and Biggie.
I know.
So, it begs the question, like, to what lengths is fame and notoriety beneficial? And at what point does it become too much and have horrible consequences?
Speak, my friend.
Drop that mic.
Drop that mic. Number 7, Nirvana comes in utero.
Oh.
Not in the utero, but out of the utero, within utero.
In utero? Which is Latin for in the uterus.
Yes.
Which means unborn.
Yes.
Unborn.
Yeah.
What songs are on that album? Serve the Servants.
Heart-shaped box.
Heart-shaped box. Oh, I know that one. It's one of the few
One of them.
riffs that I know a handful of Nirvana riffs.
There's another song called "Do Bad Things to Me," which I'm not gonna say.
Another drop D.
Slur me. Yeah, there's a comment from a Real Brave that says, "Where is Eve 6, Everclear, Bush?" I don't know if those made the list, but
Yeah, I don't think.
that's
Bush is
more.
gonna make the list.
Yeah.
Or Everclear, for that matter. Although they had a really unique sound. I think they should be on a list of unique sounds, but not.
Eve 6.
Eve 6 should not be on that. They should be nowhere near.
But they had a really good hit.
Screaming.
Inside out, turn on my feet, and nothing. Wanna put my tender heart in a blender.
Yep.
Beautiful oblivion. All day, baby, I'm through with you.
And back then, all we had was the radio, so they would play that song over and over again.
Yeah, and I'm just getting nostalgia just hearing it in my head because I haven't heard or thought about that song since probably the 90s.
And rightly so, Instagram.
But it's a banger. It slaps, as the kids say.
What is with this banger thing? Is that a thing?
I've heard it in the context of.
If a song bangs, like it's a banger,
I guess
like
Yeah,
goes hard.
it's a hit.
It-
Slaps.
It's just a groove. It's just it's driving beats. Like
That's right.
What can you say about Kurt Cobain? Other than without Kurt Cobain, what would the 90s be?
It would have been a continuation of hair metal, I think.
Yeah, because in '92 I was listening to Warrant. They came out with Cherry Pie. 91, 92.
That was Warrant? I thought that was
Yeah, she's my Cherry Pie.
Yeah.
And Silent Lucidity from oh my god. that Seattle band, and just a host of other like metal bands, and all of a sudden, Pearl Jam and are they on this list?
Yes.
Pearl Jam and Nirvana,
And
Soundgarden.
Nirvana and I guess Kurt Cobain, and just grunge by extension was just to the music scene at the time was just like a big middle finger, saying like, "Oh, you this is what you think music should be? Nope, it's this now." And it was like Kurt Cobain would go out of his way. He was a great songwriter, great guitarist, but he would go out of his way to make things sound bad. I had the opportunity to watch a live video from Nirvana earlier this week, and it was just like he was like purposefully playing the wrong notes, out of tune, but it wasn't about playing the right notes, which is what music was about at the time. Like really technical prowess.
I'm sorry.
What's happening there? Is that Podbean?
That is Podbean.
Wow.
Yeah.
Are we blowing up on Podbean?
Well, no, that was me pressing buttons.
Are people laughing at me?
We have a soundboard?
Now we do.
Oh, yes!
Oh man.
Well, I don't even know.
That's what I've been waiting for.
A soundboard? Okay.
I'm sorry I interrupted you.
He was going on a whole...
in the morning.
Kevin was going on like a whole spiel, and you just...
I forget what I was saying. Something about
Kurt Cobain and
Kurt Cobain.
playing music bad on purpose.
Yep. Yeah, right. Because music at the time, especially rock, it was coming out of metal, and it was like, this is like what rock should be. It's like real technical prowess. You got to be able to shred. You got to be able to play all these fancy arpeggios and double tap and all this stuff. And the vocals have to be like really high and like that kind of stuff.
Yep.
And then Kurt Cobain came along. And he's like, nope. Here's some 3 chords. And
As raw
it took off.
and honest as you can be, wearing a dress on stage,
Right.
throwing guitar, like smashing his guitar. Just, if you want to watch something like just truly real, you just watch Kurt Cobain on stage in the '90s, and then you realize, well, that's kind of like how we all are, right?
Right.
It wasn't just put on thing. He just went up there.
I wear a dress,
I wear a dress all the time.
almost every morning. John Fishman wears a dress for every show.
He does?
Yep. Do you know who John Fishman is?
No, I was pressing the R button and nothing happened. Who's John Fishman?
John Fishman is the drummer for a Vermont-based jam band called The Fish.
Oh, okay.
But here's the thing, it's spelled with a PH, which was another really integral band in the 90s, and I think they have honorable mention at the end of this article talking about how they kind of took up the mantle of the Grateful Dead.
It's kind of funny that when I was looking up best of the 90s, Fish was nowhere.
Yeah, because these lists are carried by music, the
Yeah,
pop music
this
snobs.
is again, if you're just tuning in on Podbean, Basil and everybody else there, and Instagram, we're doing top 10 albums of the 90s, and it's not about wearing dresses, although that's totally fine.
There's nothing wrong with that.
It's fine. Part of, so I guess we'll just move on to the next one, because I just ruined that one.
Sure.
Number 6, Pearl Jam's 10, it's life-changing for me personally.
Yes. I know you're a big Eddie Vedder fan.
I'm a big Pearl Jam fan.
And I know you just go out of your way to sing just like her.
I know. But in the 90s I did. I sound like a cross between Robert Smith from The Cure and Eddie Vedder. If you have a picture of that in your head, you're very confused right now.
But a glowing review of yourself, though.
Yeah, that's a bit like...
No, it's true. Dan sings very well.
I happen to have a voice.
Much better than I ever been able to.
It's one of the if there's certain things in life that you wish you didn't have, and that's one of them.
A voice?
Yeah.
Like at all? You just don't want to be able to
I
talk?
wish I was like a doctor.
My thing is a growth on the back of my ankle.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is.
Yeah, well, if I was a doctor, I'd be able to help you with that, but I can sing to it.
Right. And it might grow.
And it probably will grow.
Or
I have a
it might.
magical voice.
Yes. Pearl Jam.
So Pearl Jam,
What songs are on that album?
there's a bunch. Alive,
Mhm.
Even Flow, and Jeremy. Jeremy is famous for its video. Nobody knows videos anymore, like necessarily from those days. But yeah, it was like a really huge video.
Video.
It spoke to you about violence and suicide and all that bullying back in the 90s when it really wasn't a thing.
Yeah.
But the thing about Pearl Jam is that they're in this band called Mother Love Bone.
Okay.
Okay. Not
Yeah.
Okay. That guy basically OD'd and had awful problems. And they put together this demo, the fellows in Pearl Jam, and Eddie Vedder, got it, sang to it. They put together the album, and it just took off. They took off on the heels of the whole Seattle movement, like Soundgarden and all these folks. And ironically, so like I don't know if you ever listened to Temple of the Dog.
Yeah.
Which that should be on this list, personally speaking.
Oh, they were on the list. I think.
Yeah.
Maybe somewhere.
Temple of the Dog is another rehashed band, but that's got Chris Cornell, it's got Eddie Vedder singing, it's got a bunch of members from Soundgarden, and it's got members from Pearl Jam.
Wait, Temple of the Dog has Chris Cornell in it?
Not on this list.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. So they're like a super group,
super group, but it was so like under the radar.
Yeah.
And they talked about the lead singer. They actually sang a song or a couple songs about the lead singer from Mother Love Bone, and sadly Chris Cornell OD'd. And it's just like this recurring theme from artists over the years, just like killing themselves over nothing. But yeah, 10 is definitely, it says right here, nearly perfect record. Every song is great, no matter where you're coming from.
We have Justin Michael saying, Everclear, Sparkle and Fade is such an amazing 90s album.
Oh. Everclear. And who?
Everclear, Sparkle and Fade is the album, I think is what they're saying. It's from Justin Michael.
Oh, hey, Justin.
Hey, Justin. What came first?
The chicken.
Everclear.
Oh, I'm sorry.
The liquor or the band?
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't even know what Everclear is.
It's like the strongest alcohol
it's
ever.
Like now.
Yeah. It's like drinking hand sanitizer.
It's a main component of jungle juice.
You're good. And coming in at number 5,
Just
Lauren,
You don't want to unpack that a little bit?
No, I don't.
Can we circle back?
We should not circle anything.
Fine.
We should just check it off and move on.
Okay.
All right.
Still doing better than last week, I think.
Every week it gets better.
I like how he's like, can you guys talk about Sparkle and Fade? And then Kevin's like, Everclear, Jungle Juice.
Yeah. Well, that's all. That's the extent of my knowledge for Everclear.
Instagram, we're not able to. I don't know why you're over there. Camera 4.
But my mic's connected to you.
But we are talking to you. It's much better than last week. See, this week we've got the audio down, but the camera angle's messed up. I'm not really happy about it.
I think you look great on there.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
That's really nice. Yeah. Number 5, Lauryn Hill.
Oh.
10 best albums of the 90s according to Rolling Stone.
Is that
Mrs. Hill's daughter.
the Miseducation of Lauryn?
Yes.
Yeah.
Miseducation of Lauryn Hill.
Is that the one that's got the cover of Killing Me Softly on it?
Yes.
It's a good one.
The whole album's great. I actually own it somewhere in my closet.
Is it in a tape cassette?
It's on CD.
Oh.
I actually purchased it with money.
Oh, wow.
I did. I went into a store. I said, I want this. And they gave it to me.
Yeah.
And then I walked out with it after buying it.
After you
Yeah,
paid
after
for
I
it.
bought it. Wyckoff, Mr. Wyckoff. Jean.
Wycliffe?
Yeah, Wyckoff. He's on that.
Oh.
She's from New Jersey?
Yeah. She's from the Fugees, and they're from Dirty Jersey.
Yeah, the Fugees. No, that's where Killing Me Softly
Killing Me
is.
Softly, yeah.
Yeah, we're getting this right. Thank you for clearing that up.
Roberta Flack.
Which is a better version?
Oh, I really like the Roberta Flack version. It's got like a bossa nova feel to it.
That's funny, because I like the newer version.
Really?
I really do, yeah.
The
Yeah, it's just funky. And she does a great job with the vocals. Right, Instagram?
Oh yeah, the vocal work on that.
She's an amazing vocalist. And then she took time off to be a mom. Good for her.
Mm-hmm.
Personally,
A lot of people did that in the 90s, I think.
I didn't.
Oh.
No, I didn't take time off to be a mom.
No. Okay.
Number 4, U2, Octung Baby. Probably my favorite 90s album.
I've never heard it.
There's a poster of it in the studio. You never heard it?
Do you see my arm shaking?
I do. There's like a vein, too, that's coming out of your forehead.
Yeah. Every single song on this is perfect. They recorded this album after Rattle and Hum. Actually, after Rattle and Hum's tour, which was extensive. It was over a couple of years after the Joshua Tree tour, where they went through this like Americana phase. They just U2 needed to do something different, And one of the last things he said, I actually sent it to you over an email once. Need to dream it all over again.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and they need to dream it all over again. And they took time off. They went back into the studio. I don't know, in like early '90s, 1990, and just came up with a totally new sound.
So this is post Pride, post Streets with No Name,
all that stuff. And it just the Edge just went back to not roots. He went forward. He went forward in sound, and he just went completely different. And Bono took a different direction in his voice. He was, instead of the screaming high notes, full voice, he went more falsetto.
Right.
And personally, it's probably like some of the greatest songwriting. It's a perfect album. I think it's a more perfect album than the other perfect albums.
We've covered a handful of Who songs. The St. Paddy's Day Parade.
Yes, we did.
2 years ago.
Yeah.
That was fun.
My kids think I sound like Bono, but it's only because I'm a huge fan.
You do a good Bono.
I'm not that bad. I don't have his money.
Right.
Yeah.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Podbean. We're
Yeah,
talking to you. Subscribe to our Patreon.
Yeah, if you're listening, what?
AdSense.
If you're listening right now, please follow us on all social at Real Brave Inc.
Mm-hmm.
And every Wednesday, 1 p.m., we're doing this show, so please tune in. We're teachers as well. We do a lot of instruction. If you're looking to learn to play, we have an online database, an online platform for video lessons, and you can meet one-on-one with an instructor. It's by far the greatest thing in the history of mankind.
What's that platform called?
It's called Practice Pad.
Practice Pad. So you can go to practice-pad.com
Yes, you can.
and sign up for a free lesson today.
You get a free lesson right now.
Wow.
Yeah, so they're standing by.
Incredible.
Right now. I'm not even joking. We've
No.
got people standing by as we speak to take your call if you wanted to sign up for lessons worldwide. And we're no joking around there.
Cool.
All right? Did I make that clear?
I think so.
Good. Number 3, Radiohead, OK Computer.
Okay. Computer.
Wait a second. So Radiohead's, I can't dispute it being in the top 10.
No, not at all. Top 5. Top 3. This is one of my favorite albums. OK Computers.
Yeah.
Paranoid Android, and others. Fitter Happier, which is like a modern day. So
That's iconic.
You said earlier that people were comparing OK Computer to like modern day Dark Side of the Moon.
Yes, they called it Dark Side of the Moon for like the information age, like the computer age.
Okay,
I see it.
I see that, and I raise you this. I think Kid A is more Dark Side of the Moon. OK Computer is more White Album. Because it's got, first of all, some of the best songs in Radiohead's catalog, and then it's also got a song Fitter Happier, which is like the 1997 equivalent of Number 9, Revolution 9.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
It's
Fitter,
not really
happier.
music per se, but it's definitely a very interesting track on it.
I always skip that one.
Why? There's actually really good music in the background of it.
The lyrics are like funny. It's
Fitter, happier,
This-
more productive.
Back then, if I'd probably would listen to it now, but back then I would just go, because right after that was, what song, what track? Airbag?
Airbag.
Yeah.
I thought Airbag was the first song on the album.
Oh, no.
That's like my favorite.
What are the tracks? Let's look them up right now.
Yeah, I'm gonna look at it. I got it.
No, 2 + 2 = 5. No, that's
No, that's not even from this
That's the
album.
first one, Paranoid Android.
Electro engineering is what's after Fitter Happier, but
Hey everybody, I'm sitting on about 100 ounces of water right now. I'm gonna have to take a quick break.
Oh, where are you going?
I'm gonna visit the restroom.
Great.
And
So-
I have
so Dan,
That's
you
on
can
tape. That's
just
for posterity, by the way.
on 3 different
I could just do that. I could put that in a loop. I could have all the interns cut that up on a loop forever and ever.
Please do.
I will. My favorite track in this is definitely Let Down.
really. I mean, every song on this is
And then
perfect.
a close second is Airbag. Paranoid Android is just a masterpiece. I think.
Should I go in Kevin's spot for 50 seconds?
No, we're gonna leave it right there.
We're gonna leave it empty.
We're gonna leave it empty.
Kind of
Look
sad.
at that. Just look at it. Nobody there right now. If we're really being honest right now, what we want to hear is the hand dryer. We're gonna want to hear the hand dryer. Let's see. Of course, there is a way to use napkins in there, but we want to hear the hand dryer. If we hear the hand dryer, then we're gonna be happy.
We're gonna know that he's on his way back.
Yeah.
I would say, I mean, every song on this album is perfect. Exit music for a film is like just so eerie, haunting. Yeah, Karma Police. I mean, I feel like everyone knows that song, like the video
Karma
for
Police
it.
is probably one of their famous tunes.
Yeah.
But
I have to say, you've seen
the modern Dark Side of the Moon. I think you can't really describe it anyway else but that.
Oh,
there it is, hand dryer. Are we happy?
And what other? Oh, the Paranoid Android music video is great. You've seen that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. That's like, if I was gonna make a music video, I would do it like that. Just like the weird animation, all this weird stuff happening. Hi, Kevin.
Thanks, Kevin.
Okay, he's back.
Hand dryer and all. We're wrapping up the conversation about OK Computer.
Oh,
It went platinum a year after its release. Yeah. A welcome testament that smart still sells. No, it doesn't.
That's what Rolling Stone said, not my personal words.
If that's true, then my records would be very famous.
It still sells. I listen to it on Spotify regularly. This is not regular rotation.
Yeah, but nobody else is going to be able to rehash an OK Computer brilliant album like that, right? Smart?
No, yeah.
Still sells? Back then, anyway. I still think that the Benz is just as good.
Really?
The Benz is wonderful.
Well, the Benz is a very good album.
I do like the Benz. I think that just lyrically and instrumentally, though, on OK Computer and Kid A, I mean, it was just like they were breaking boundaries, you know. They were doing new stuff, like crazy stuff at the time.
Yeah, the Benz was kind of like not one-dimensional, but it was not as maybe versatile as OK Computer or any of their later work. Really.
I do enjoy the songs on that album, though. Some great.
Big plastic trees on the Benz, right?
Yeah, and Planet.
As far as like
Planet
rewriting
Telex,
the rock manuscript and what they did with that album, 1995, is it was kind of like a pivot because we were in this grunge phase with this 3-chord grunge phase, and then all of a sudden it just took a left-hand turn, and they came out of left field with this because their first album was definitely like in this rock genre. I saw them open up for Weezer in 1993.
That was Pablo Honey.
Pablo Honey was their first album, and it was an amazing show. And Tom New York had like spiky, long, blonde hair, but they took this left turn with the Benz, and I remember I was dating a girl in 1998, and she had a bootleg copy in 97, and she had a bootleg copy of OK Computer, and we listened to it in my beat-up Mercury something or other, and that was, I'll never forget that, because I was just blown away. I'll never forget that.
Did you skip over Fitter Happier?
Probably.
All right. Just one more thing I have to add about Radiohead is, as a guitar teacher, we're always looking for beginner students, we're always looking for like accessible music that's easy enough to play, but is still popular enough to be known. And Radiohead has a song called, I'm sure everybody knows it, Creep. Thank you. Which is 4 chords that repeat over and over and over again. It's a popular choice for guitar teachers. However, Tom York hates that song.
Yeah.
He wrote it and he will not play it anymore.
That's like that stereotypical rock star hates their most famous.
Kurt Cobain.
Yeah, like hates them. You know what? I have like zero patience for that. I have zero patience because like without that tune, would they be the same band?
They probably wouldn't have reached the.
They never would have gotten there. So why do that? Like not like that. I want to hear Creep. Trust me. Like I'm not saying I need to hear Creep over and over again.
Right.
Heard it enough the last 5 lifetimes. But the notion that he's going to go on stage and be like, and everyone's going to be like, I want to hear Creep, and he's going to say no, that bothers me.
I'm not bothered by it.
Why?
Because I think that was like their ticket to fame.
Yeah.
So it opened the door so that they could create a lot more stuff.
Do you hate your mother?
Excuse me? No, Mom, if you're watching, I love you.
That's like hating your mother.
Is it?
Yeah, it brought them into the world.
I don't know. Maybe if...
I love you, Mom.
Mom, thanks for watching. My mom's not allowed to have Facebook.
Yeah. Yeah. We can discuss that.
But I think that I would maybe use a different metaphor. Maybe Creep was like the finishing school that you went to, and it gave you all these great life skills, but you hated your experience there, and you hate that it's you have all these pictures of it, and people are always asking about it.
Facebook, everybody here, do you guys hate the song Creep? I'm not saying I like it now. I mean, but back then, if you were a tyke listening to music, did you like the song? If they were playing live, would you appreciate it if they did a cover of it? And then just appreciate the fact that they had the song. Like, don't discount it totally. Don't be like, well, I hate that song. I don't like that song. It's so bad. Yeah, well, it made you freaking famous.
Did you what?
Makes me sick. Don't get me started.
There's in those four chords that repeat over and over and over again.
Yeah.
There's a great amount of music theory.
It goes from major to minor.
Well, yeah, you've
That's
got that
That's all I know.
major 4-chord
Yeah.
to the minor 4-chord, and we'd call that a minor plagal cadence or modal mixture, borrowing from a G Aeolian. But
I digress.
I do digress. There's a lot of really cool stuff in those 4 chords, and I think that's part of what makes it such a timeless classic that everybody hates.
Okay. Well, I think we did it justice.
Yeah, we did.
Number 2 in the top 10 albums of all time, according to Rolling Stone.
No, not of all time.
The top 10 90s albums of all time.
Yeah.
The 1990 albums of all 1990 albums of all time.
From the
Coming
year
in
1990 to 1999, December 31st.
Dr. Dre's The Chronic
Oh,
comes
yeah.
in at number 2.
Chronic.
Oh man.
I had the Chronic 2001.
Yeah.
I didn't have the original Chronic.
I had none of them.
Oh.
But I mean, first of all, Dr. Dre, I know you're watching. We're hoping you're feeling better.
Yes.
We know you're watching.
Yep.
And
Thanks for watching.
He had a stroke, didn't he? Or an aneurysm.
I don't know.
One or the other. I hope you're feeling better.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Dre, he was one of the guys from NWA.
He was a left coaster.
Yeah, a left coaster. And there's these guys, Snoop Dogg, Suge Knight, he was a producer, right? Suge Knight, or he was like the mogul.
We're talking about NWA now.
No, but
Well, yeah, I mean,
after the Chronic, these guys were like bigger than big.
Right.
yeah.
Plus,
Bigger
Suge
than
Knight
Biggie.
is responsible for murder.
That's right.
Yeah.
Well, allegedly.
Well, if you watch Straight Outta Compton, you know that he may or may not have been responsible for Eazy's death,
Allegedly.
right? Allegedly.
And if you watch The Wizard of Oz, you also know that a house fell on one of the witches.
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
Nobody saw that house land.
No, you saw feet trouble.
You just saw the house on top of the feet, like you can maybe interpret, but we're not saying.
So Dorothy killed Tupac.
Right.
Oh, somebody
yeah,
said.
Right.
Somebody said Jane's addiction, ritual, D'Lo, habitual. That was on the list. I think I wrote about it in.
Yeah, Jane's Addiction. Look, that's the thing with lists. They're the worst. And we're gonna. Do we have like a list?
Yeah,
of
this
the
is
other?
our like.
We
our
do have.
eighth
I
straight
put some other ones in.
outlets. And every time we say these lists are awful.
But you can't. You just can't. Dr. Dre needs to be in the top 10, 100%. The Chronic is one of the greatest albums of all time. But how can you pick the top 10 of all time? We're gonna have this conversation every single week until these lists go bye bye. Right.
We should do a top 10 list.
We can do that. The top 10 greatest lists of all time.
Greatest list.
That's actually kind of funny. We should actually do that.
Let's not.
Why?
By the way, Dr. Dre had a brain aneurysm, and he is now in recovery.
Yeah, brain aneurysm.
Mr. Dre,
Yeah, Mr. Dre, if you're watching, we hope you feel better. We know you're watching.
Yeah.
So feel better. Well, what else can be said about the Chronic?
So many things that we don't know.
Yeah. But what about the funkiness, man? Just bringing that funk. If any of my 90s friends are watching and I'm talking about this, you're probably making fun of me right now saying...
So 80s and 90s hip-hop...
Can't believe you're talking about that.
Is largely lent to their taking samples of like 70s funk music. So you'll hear James Brown riffs on a lot of like Tribe Called Quest and others.
Tribe Called Quest?
They're on the list.
Great band. What about, sorry.
Oh, I had nothing else.
Okay, good.
I think what made Dre special in this and why he was so, why this is number 2 is because his just emceeing and his like delivery was just different and unique. I think it's what it was talking about.
Funky.
Yeah.
It was funky.
Also, the origin of the word chronic comes from Snoop Dogg's misinterpretation of the word ponic, like hydroponically grown weed. He thought they said hydrochronic, and that's why he calls weed chronic.
Okay.
So, that's...
I have nothing to add.
Yeah, we're going to just move on from that. So, if you're, do we have a drum roll thing on this? We probably do. I got it. Hold on a second. Listen, we're at number 1 with the top 10 1990s albums. The best of them. This is the best of the best of the best. Coming in at number 1. That was short. Coming in at number 1 is Nirvana, Nevermind. Yeah,
I had a soundboard too.
all right.
Nevermind. So if you've ever listened to anything, you'll probably recognize this one, which is probably maybe the catalyst of the grunge.
Yeah.
That smells like Teen Spirit.
Yes.
By Nirvana.
And he always talked about that song being ripped off from the Pixies.
What Pixies song?
I don't know. But
They ripped him off, or he took that?
No. He was heavily influenced by it.
Oh, wow, okay, yeah.
And you're saying that he hates that song too?
I would have...
Well, not currently.
I mean,
he's no longer with us.
Right, well, I think he hated his fame in general. And I think that led to his downward spiral.
Or Courtney Love.
Careful. Courtney Love is watching.
Yeah, Courtney Love, if you're watching, which we know you are.
She definitely watches the
She
podcast.
definitely watches the podcast. If you like anything about this, watch the Courtney Love documentary about that whole thing. It's interesting. It's a little bit too aliens for me, but yeah. So never mind. I heard this in 1982. I was given a tape. If you don't know what a tape is, looks something like this. And my friend was like, "You're gonna listen to this," and I listened to it, and my mind was blown.
What year was this?
1991. 1991. Sorry. 1991.
I was 2 years old.
You were 2 years old. I was junior in high school. That hurts my feelings.
Man.
Don't do that to me. Never do that again.
I remember, so like, I never really got into grunge or Nirvana. I remember being in like middle school and like...
Your middle school when you got into Nirvana?
Yeah.
So middle school like 99? No.
Like 2001,
2001, 2?
Yeah.
So then it's 10 years old.
Yeah.
He's long gone.
Right. Yeah.
And it looks like, what's your origin story for being given, what's your origin story?
My origin story here is that there was a clique of really mean kids
Okay.
that said, like, you don't like Nirvana, you suck.
Okay.
I was like, well, let me listen to it. And I was like, okay, this is pretty cool, but these guys are mean to me, so I'm going to stick with my Limp Bizkit and Backstreet Boys.
Mm. Well, it had some of the most iconic production of the time too. So, like, I believe Bush Vig. Can you check that for me, Maddie? Because I don't want to get my facts wrong.
It did take me a little
Bush
while
Vig produced
to...
The
those
producer
drums.
of Nevermind.
What's that?
You want to figure out the
Yeah,
producer?
I just want to check the producer of it. Well, at least the drumming. 'Cause I know there was loops. So, like, Dave Grohl, famously of which band?
the Foo
Fighters.
Fighters.
Foo Fighters.
And
the
also
drummer
Nirvana.
for
It
Nirvana.
was Butch Vig.
Butch Vig.
Butch Vig produced Yeah, he produced Nevermind.
Yeah, Butch Vig was.
He's from Garbage.
From Garbage, yeah. He was instrumental now in producing that sound, that drum sound. You listen to that drum sound, it is the tightest, heaviest effing drum sound I'd like from that time. It's great.
Right.
They didn't necessarily like it. I remember that there because if you listen to their first Bleach, it wasn't anything close to that. But he tightened that up. He made parts to it, and it was life changing in so many different ways. I'm the type of musician that once I hear a band, I put it somewhere. I'm like, that goes here, and I'm going to take that out every once in a while and listen to it. I'm not going to listen to on Sirius XM 90s or Lithium. If I do it, it's like I'm going to take that off the shelf, listen to it for a minute, and be like, Jesus, let's put that back for a while.
Right.
I don't want to listen to it all the time. Some people get stuck in the 90s listening to Nirvana. That was a phase. I don't know if you guys feel that same way there, but I personally just like to move on from things. So that Nirvana phase, I have a hard time getting back into.
So I eventually did warm up to Nirvana, and as I was becoming an angstier, more teenager angst person.
Good English.
Which was at the time of the release of their music, sort of the target audience, or at least the audience that most identify with music. I will say that what you just said kind of opens up a larger discussion about nostalgia.
Yeah.
If we were to go and listen to any of these songs, not now because copyright, but if we were to go listen to any of these songs, we might feel like this sort of familiar, almost like a deja vu kind of feeling. And I read recently that nostalgia is not, we don't seek out nostalgia like Sirius 90s or whatever. We don't seek that out because the quality of the stuff is so good, although in this case a lot of it is. We seek that stuff out because we yearn to feel like we did back in the 90s or back when, whenever. And I recently, I told you about this, I bought a laptop, a PC laptop, so that I can play the game Age of Empires.
Yes.
And my Age of Empire heads out there?
Maybe
not. Just for that nostalgia. And I enjoyed it for 2 weeks, and I was like, okay, it's 2021, let's do this normal.
So that rounds off the list. We have a bunch of others. Problem is that we're up to the 2 o'clock hour, and I have a meeting.
Oh, we're not going to do the game?
I know.
We didn't get to talk about Loveless.
This is a problem, folks.
Maybe we could continue this.
We might have to do a part 2.
Part 2 of not a best of the 90s?
I think we're going to have to do that, because I'd love to do the game. I'd love to actually get to the rest of these. Smashing Pumpkins, Fiona Apple, Weezer, Sublime. I mean,
Loveless.
Want to do lists of the 10, the
top 10 My Bloody Valentine songs, even though they only have 10 songs.
Loved lists. Trying to find everything with all else. Weezer, the Blue Album, should be on this top 10. I mean, that was life-changing too. I don't know if you guys agree, disagree, thumbs down, thumbs up. But lists in general, this is from Rolling Stone. You can go check it out, and that's according to them, the top 10 of all time. And that's all I got for today. Cause I got this thing. I got to do it.
You got a thing?
I got a thing. It's actually pretty important. It affects your life.
Really?
Yep.
Cool.
All right. So thanks everybody on Peatbon. This is just, it's not working.
Almost.
Thanks to everybody on Podbean for listening. You've got a bunch of people on there. Thanks to everybody on Instagram if you're listening there and watching. This is going to be live soon. We're going to have this streaming. It's going to be fun. And we've got the Real Brave thing happening. We've got graphics. We've got Maddie. We've got Kevin. Real Brave is a music studio, and we are online. We have something called Practice Pad. Practice Pad is a revolutionary platform for video lessons. You can take lessons right now with an instructor. You can go to practice-pad.com, sign up, and you can start working on the instrument of your dreams. So I highly suggest everyone keep following us because this thing is going worldwide and nothing's stopping it.
3.0 coming out soon, right?
3.0, lots of new features. We're the only one that has something like this. Actually, that's not true. A couple other people.
No, it is true. It is true. We invented this.
It is true. So, you know what? I don't want to be the king of the mountain and own the mountain too. That doesn't make any sense. Thanks for joining us today. Please join us next Wednesday at 1 p.m. Real Brave Live. Where I guess we're gonna have to finish this.
Yeah.
And continue on, and you'll hear more about it soon. Thanks everybody for watching.
On Real Brave Live.
You did it.